Right, we are on again. It's been a while, but we're joined by Tom Novak, the doctor of weather, and we're here to talk. Even though it's 60 plus degrees outside, supposedly there's something in the works for later this week. Is that right, Tom?
Yeah, so the National Weather Service in the Twin Cities had put out a statement in their forecast discussion a couple days back with some very powerful language, I had thought. Language that I actually appreciated. I think it's kind of fun when people talk up storms a little bit, as you know, Bill. But the powerful language of,
But I was thinking of them as being, real colorless.
yes, you've hit it on the nose, Bill, because usually they're fairly tame with some of the rhetoric that they come out with. But even a couple days ago, they were saying in their forecast discussion that this is a weather pattern that they've never seen before, that they're not used to. It's almost like they don't know how to approach this upcoming weather pattern. And I loved it because I had to admit I had never seen it before myself. And I was very excited to see how this whole week was going to evolve. Well, here you go. Record high temperatures, right? We're working on the 4th day of record or near record high temperatures. We'll have a 5th one tomorrow. And then the bottom drops out. And it's really going to drop out the way it appears right now. In fact, Bill, it is time to panic. Time to panic.
Tom, those are fighting words.
Yes. Well, and the reason why I say that, Bill, is because, and now, all of the media outlets, I'm sure, are looking at the computer model data from this morning and this afternoon. Snow bands are shifting north and west. So not surprising, actually, because if you looked at the jet stream structure, and we'll take a quick look at it here in a little bit, Bill, but the jet stream structure has been promoting a significant storm system, blizzard potential type storm, for several days. The upper level and mid-level jet patterns in our atmosphere, the dynamics have been there for many, many, many days. Hence the reason why the National Weather Service was putting out that strong rhetoric a few days back. And now it's starting to come true. And those people that thought that the snow band was going to miss the Twin Cities and slide well southeast of the metro are probably going to be shifting their opinion and jumping on the bandwagon now tonight as you start listening to the media outlets.
Tom, as you go through the models, I'd like to incorporate a question that somebody asked. Is there any reason to favor one model over another? I think that's a good question. Maybe you can incorporate that as you talk.
Okay, well, first off, yes, there is, Bill. And of course, you know that I've been a big fan of the European computer model for several years now. But I do have to say the American model, which has had a little bit of a makeover lately, in fact, an important makeover lately, has performed very well, I feel.
Could we say that we're trying to make American models great again?
Well, we are. And all the time, they're always working. Everybody that has a computer model is always working on these models to try to make them better. And it looks like the Americans did a real nice job lately with the GFS computer model guidance, which we're going to be looking at here.
Tom, did you catch that Trump reference? To make American models great again?
Yes.
Okay. Just want to make sure. I know you don't want to touch. I just want to make sure.
You and your politics. You always have to put politics into our weather.
I'm just making a reference to current.
Never talk politics, Bill. You should know that.
All right. Let's hit the weather.
All right. Here you go. This is the GFS computer guidance, Bill, just what we've been talking about. Here's Minneapolis and St. Paul. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to see that Minneapolis and St. Paul is right in the bullseye for heaviest snows.
Tom, do you think rocket scientists say things like you don't need to be a meteorologist to?
I think they do.
Okay.
I think they do.
Okay.
And it's true though, Bill, because this is a very simple graphic to read. It shows that the heaviest snow, the axis of heavy snow, has been shoved about 100 to 200 miles further northwest than even just what the GFS computer model was showing last night.
So what are those numbers under there, Tom? Like hard to make them out.
Snowfall, Bill, anywhere you see in the reds, that's snow in excess of a foot. Wow. Here's the Twin Cities. Here's St. Cloud. All right, here's Rochester. Okay, so no doubt this heavy snow band, if you believe the GFS computer guidance, has been shoved well northwest than what we were previously anticipating. Do I think it's going to be right up in this area? No, I think we could maybe shove it back, maybe another 50, 100 miles further south and east, but still, regardless, this just tells you that all of southern Minnesota and a good chunk of Wisconsin is under the gun, and we need to be very, very observant on what these guidances are going to be showing here over the next couple of days with their model runs. Here's the European computer guidance, Bill, showing a little bit of a different tune. It's got that snow band about 100 miles further southeast than the GFS computer model, but regardless, it's got the Twin Cities, at least half of the metro, the southern half, in a half a foot plus of snow, and portions of Dakota, Scott County, near a foot of snow. And then, of course, it's got the axis of heavy snow from about Albert Lee on northeast to Red Wing, and then to Eau Claire. So subtle difference, but an important difference on where these snow bands are located. And then last but not least, this is the NAM computer model, Bill. This is more of a short-term guidance, not a medium-range guidance, but it shows basically what the GFS is showing, which is heavy snow band right across the Twin Cities metro, and it puts the northwestern half of Wisconsin in heavy snow, and basically the heart of Minnesota in over a foot of snow. It is time to panic, Bill, if you're in the weather industry and snow removal business, and anybody that loves snow should be absolutely thrilled with what these latest model guidances are showing.
Tom, has the storm, has it actually come off the coast yet?
It is not. It actually comes on the coast this evening and overnight, so probably need to take all of this information with a grain of salt, and we will feel a lot more comfortable about the situation come tomorrow morning when the morning runs, computer model runs come down. That they become available about 9 or 10 in the morning. So, but I can pretty much assure you I haven't checked in with the National Weather Service yet, but I'm sure they'll be coming out with their discussion here momentarily. And in that discussion, they're going to talk about hoisting watches, winter storm watches for much of Minnesota and Wisconsin. So you can be assured that that's going to happen this evening. I can't imagine they won't issue them. And then I would bet that they turn these into some warnings as we head into tomorrow evening and Thursday. And the time frame is going to be late Thursday, so probably after about 6 p.m. Thursday through Friday night. So it's going to be about a 24 to 36 hour storm system that will also have wind with it. Hey, Bill.
Yeah.
You want to know why I'm so confident that there's going to be a winter storm?
I bet it has something to do with jet streaks.
It has a lot to do with the jet stream. This is the jet stream from the GFS computer model. This is the river of air at about 25 to 30,000 feet, where the jets like to put it on cruise control, right?
Yep.
And you know, Bill, over the years, we like to talk about these jet streaks. And usually in between two jet streaks is where you get a massive storm system to develop. And it also usually develops on the nose of a jet streak. So here we have a very powerful jet streak coming in from the desert Southwest into Texas. And on the nose of that jet streak, which would be right over Iowa, southern Minnesota, Wisconsin, that is where a significant storm system is going to explode. And of course, you've got another jet streak now just north of Minnesota, where there is little wind. There's a lot of lift in the atmosphere. And that's where a storm system is going to explode. And that's why I'm so excited for a storm system here over southern Minnesota and Wisconsin. You know, to me, Bill, we're still 48 hours out from the onset of the storm. And it's a little foolish to be talking about locks, but I think this one's pretty much a lock, at least for 48 hours out. And I hope I don't eat crow on that one.
So Tom, what about, you know, there's always the concerns like the dry slot. Dry slot. I couldn't think of the word slot. You know, the dry slot or too much dry air gets in the system. You know, I mean, those are the usual suspects for when things don't pan out like we might think they would.
Yep. No, you're right, Bill. And there is some concern for a dry slot, especially if this jet streak were to shove further north and west. This right now, it looks like a dry slot is going to develop over Iowa and over portions of Wisconsin, at least at 500 millibars. And then let's look a little bit further down in our atmosphere, a little bit lower in our atmosphere, and see where that dry slot develops at 700 millibars. And here it is. And this, the greatest potential for a bust, the way it appears to me, would be from Rochester and La Crosse on south and east. So Rochester, Eau Claire, and Des Moines on south and east, if they are predicting snow in those areas, those are the areas that have the greatest potential for a bust. Right now, it shows that the deformation axis of snow, so which would be the heaviest band of snow, would fall right over the Twin Cities metro in northwestern Wisconsin. So the Birkebeiner up in northwest Wisconsin is probably saying prayers right now and thanking the Lord because their prayers may be answered that they're going to finally get a boatload of snow for their Saturday events. And I'm very happy for them.
Yeah. So do you do you have any idea, Tom, like, could you say there is no way the Twin Cities will get less than X number of inches of snow?
I'm not going to say that yet. I'm
Okay.
not coming out with snow predictions yet, Bill. Normally I come out with them about 24 to 48 hours in advance. We're still beyond 48 hours. I can tell you this. I will be shocked if the Twin Cities Metro doesn't receive a significant snow from Thursday night through Friday. And I will be shocked if some areas of southern Minnesota don't at least get 10 inches plus of snow out of this storm system. That would also include western Wisconsin. And in fact, Bill, with that being said, this is the latest travel impact map from Novak Weather. And you can see the areas that I have highlighted that I have greatest concern for. So if you're traveling, and you're traveling anywhere over southern Minnesota, really from La Crosse and La Crescent, Minnesota on northwest to St. Cloud, that's where the bullseye looks to be. And I'm extremely concerned or have high concern for travel problems from Mankato, Sioux City, Iowa on northeast through Rochester, the Twin Cities, and then up through Eau Claire and Hayward, Wisconsin.
So Tommy, you're kind of buying into mostly the European, right? Because it was the GFS that had more of the heavier stuff to the north and west.
Well, I'm buying into all the model guidance because there's a consensus here, Bill, and we always deal with this. Yes, their snow bands are about 50 to 100 miles different from each other.
Yeah.
But the screaming message here, Bill, is that all of them place at least some significant snow over the Twin Cities area and over the I-35W and I-94 corridors. Okay, so that's why I've got that high impact area where I situated it, is because all guidance is showing that right now, and the confidence is very high in that strip.
Tom, one of the other questions that we had that I'd like to talk about is question was raised about the GEFS members, the 21 members. So I assume that those are different models that show the whole potential of what could happen, and that is used to kind of identify consensus patterns. Is that right?
Well, really what it is it's the GFS computer model that has wrinkles in it, 21 different wrinkles in them.
Okay.
And so rather than just relying on one specific wrinkle within the GFS computer guidance, we like to throw a whole bunch of them out there, and then we try to average them. And usually that average or that median is where the weather is going to fall. And then that would, in turn, be probably your GFS is probably a good median between the 21.
So sort of like where you see a possible hurricane pass and you see all those different graphs, but you're,
yep.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it is. I mean, remember, Bill, our atmosphere is vast, and we only measure just a sliver of our atmosphere, which is really the big problem in weather. If we could measure our whole atmosphere with no problem with millions and billions of data points, we would have almost perfection in weather forecasting. But we can't. We only measure a sliver of our atmosphere. And what we need to do is we need to kind of guesstimate. And those analogs, 21 of them, are 21 different ways of guessing what's going to happen in the future.
And I think, you know, I've been wanting to say this for a long time, but the way there's always so much reliance on whether it's an El Nino or La Nina, and I think that's way simplifying things. I mean, look at California the year before, they were talking about, oh, this is the big year, and this is what, somewhat of a neutral year, and look at all the rain they're getting. Likewise, it's just not so simple.
La Nina, which is what we were in this winter season.
It was a minor one though, right?
Well, minor one, but still, it's certainly not an El Nino.
Yeah.
El Ninos usually mean a warm winter for the upper Midwest. La Ninas usually mean cold. And the Climate Prediction Center came out with a map back in November saying that we were going to be a lot colder than normal here in the upper Midwest and northern plains. Well, you see where that got us.
Yeah. Yeah.
This has been the warmest winter. It's probably going to average out to be the warmest winter ever.
Wow.
Yep.
So one last question, Tom. Do you think this is going to be a wet snow? Given, I mean, I would think it would have to be given how warm it's been.
Wet snow to start it off, and then it will progressively get a little bit drier. But in general, this is a back-breaking, shovel-busting type snow. So be prepared for it. Somebody close to home is going to get 12 inches plus of snow out of this.
Wow. All right, Tom, anything else?
That's it, my buddy.
All right, well, maybe we'll have a chance to check in possibly later tomorrow or something to see if you have any updates.
I love it. Take care, buddy.
All right, see you later.
Bye-bye.